70% of all workplace electrical fatalities happen to people who are not electricians, according to data reported on OSHA's own injury forms between 2011 and 2024. Read that again. If you're a millwright, a pipe fitter, a helper, anyone working near a panel you didn't install and don't plan to touch, this statistic is about you, not the electrician. Today, what every non-electrician on site actually needs to understand about energized equipment and arc flash. Welcome to Toolbox Talk TV. Industrial safety, one topic at a time, backed by real numbers. Today it's electrical safety and arc flash, across oil and gas, petrochemical, fertilizer, and power plant work. Let's start with the scale of this problem. The Electrical Safety Foundation International reports that non-fatal electrical injuries involving days away from work hit 5,180 cases combined across 2023 and 2024, a 59% increase compared to the 2 years before that. And the leading cause of electrical fatalities overall isn't equipment failure deep inside a panel, it's overhead power line contact, accounting for nearly half of all electrical deaths, often in situations where the line was clearly visible the entire time. Now let's talk specifically about arc flash, because this is the hazard most non-electricians drastically underestimate. An arc flash is a sudden release of energy from an electrical fault, and it isn't a small event. The National Fire Protection Association's research shows that roughly 85% of arc flash injuries involve thermal burns covering more than 10% of the body's surface. Separately, an IEEE study found vision loss occurred in roughly 40% of documented arc flash cases, caused by ultraviolet radiation from the flash itself. Here's a real, documented example of how these citations happen in practice. In January 2023, the U.S. Department of Labor cited Eversource Energy for willful and serious violations following a fatal arc flash and blast in Boston, tied specifically to equipment that hadn't been fully de-energized before work began. That's the pattern behind nearly every arc flash citation, not a freak equipment failure, but a verification step that didn't happen. So what does a non-electrician actually need to know? You're not expected to diagnose electrical systems. You're expected to recognize 4 things. 1. Arc flash boundary labeling. Energized equipment above a certain hazard category is required to carry a label indicating the arc flash boundary, the minimum safe approach distance for anyone not wearing rated protective equipment. If you see that label, you don't cross that line, period, regardless of your trade. 2. Verify de-energization, not assume de-energization. If you're told a panel or circuit is de-energized for a task happening near you, that verification should come from a qualified person confirming a zero-energy state, the same principle we covered in our lockout-tagout video, not just someone's assumption that the breaker was flipped. 3. Arc-rated PPE requirements. NFPA 70E research shows that compliant arc-rated PPE reduces injury risk from an arc flash event by roughly 90%. If a task near you requires arc-rated clothing or a face shield for the actual electrician performing it, that's your signal the hazard category is serious, not a formality you can ignore just because you're not the one in the PPE. 4. Your own safe distance. Even as a bystander, standing near open energized equipment during testing or troubleshooting puts you inside a hazard zone you can't visually assess. If you don't have a specific reason to be there, you shouldn't be there. 3 mistakes worth naming directly. Mistake 1. Assuming a panel is safe because someone said so. Verification, not verbal assurance, confirms zero energy. Mistake 2. Treating an arc flash boundary label as something that only applies to electricians. The label defines a physical distance, and physics doesn't check your job title. Mistake 3. Standing near live troubleshooting out of curiosity or convenience. If you're not required to be within the arc flash boundary for your specific task, stay outside it. Quick recap. The majority of electrical fatalities happen to non-electricians. Overhead power line contact is the single leading cause. Arc flash boundary labels define a real physical safe distance for everyone, and verified de-energization, not assumption, is what actually confirms a zero-energy state. That's electrical safety and arc flash, a hazard most non-electricians underestimate specifically because they assume it isn't their problem, when the data says otherwise. Next video, we're covering heat stress prevention, recognizing and preventing heat illness on site, especially relevant with summer approaching. If you're finding these safety talk videos useful, please like this video and subscribe to Toolbox Talk TV so you don't miss the next one. And drop a comment. Does your site clearly label arc flash boundaries on equipment? Yes or no? I want to know how common this actually is. Stay safe out there, and I'll see you in the next one.